Alcohol is making you more depressed, weaker, and dumber. And no, I'm not talking about the hangover. I'm talking about what's happening inside your body for the next 5 days after you drink. I work with entrepreneurs every single day, guys running 7 and 8-figure businesses. I look at their blood work, their sleep data, their energy patterns, and I can tell you that alcohol is the #1 thing that is silently wrecking their performance. And I say silently because nobody is really connecting the dots. You drink a couple of drinks on a Friday night and your focus is off until next Wednesday. Your drive disappears for 2 to 3 days and your hormones literally change in a way that shows up in your blood work years later. And that's exactly what we're gonna get into. So let me show you the real cost of drinking as an entrepreneur. The stuff that you can't feel but your body is dealing with for the entire week. And by the way, I've put together a free guide called the Entrepreneur Recovery Protocol, which covers exactly what you should be doing the week after you drink to minimize the damage. So it's free, the link is in the description, so go get it. When it comes to alcohol, here's the thing that nobody calculates. So let's say you go out on Friday, have a few drinks. Saturday is out of the question. It's a complete write-off. Sunday, you feel okay. Monday, you tell yourself you're back to normal, but in reality, we both know that you are not. One of the main reasons behind this is that what alcohol is doing to your gut. It takes literally 3 to 5 days for your gut to recover from moderate drinking, because alcohol is literally one of the top gut disruptors because it causes inflammation in your gut. It kills your gut microbiome. Essentially, it starves the good bacteria and it lets the bad bacteria grow. And given how important your gut health is for your mental performance, your energy, your mood, and your drive, this is a terrible thing to even have into your consideration as a variable. You see, your gut produces about 90% of the serotonin you have in your system, meaning when your gut is inflamed and it's not working properly, you produce less of that serotonin, which means that impacts your drive, your mood, and your energy. But instead of actually thinking about that, you say, oh, it's a part of the process. Well, I need a couple of days more to recover, and so on and so forth. The other thing is your sleep quality. Your sleep quality is absolutely wrecked for the next 2 to 3 nights. And I know you might think that you can have one drink and it'll help you to calm down and fall asleep, but even 2 drinks can actually reduce your REM sleep up to 30%. And knowing how important REM sleep is for memory consolidation, for your focus, for your drive, for your testosterone production, that is a really stupid thing to even say or even do. So essentially, you're causing all those problems to your gut and to your sleep quality, and by Monday morning, you're there with a pretty much inflamed gut with depleted neurotransmitters. Again, 90% of serotonin happens in the gut. 60% of your dopamine happens in your gut. You have hundreds and hundreds of neurotransmitters and neurochemicals being produced inside of your gut. So your brain function is going to be disrupted. You're not going to be even at your baseline, for that matter, on Monday. The other problem which causes you to feel no drive the days after drinking, it's what alcohol does to your dopamine system. And this problem is directly impacting your revenue and your work output. So you need to pay attention to this. You see, alcohol is a dopaminergic activity. It's a dopaminergic behavior. So when you go out on a Friday night or even on a Saturday night and you combine drinking with socializing, music, and stimulants and fun, you are creating a dopamine tsunami. And the thing with dopamine is that you have a baseline circulating in your system throughout the entire day. The level of that baseline determines your mood, your drive, your excitement to do things. And that's why when you go out and stack all those dopaminergic behaviors, you feel like you're on top of the world. But the thing nobody tells you is that dopamine is like a tank. And the baseline of dopamine, so your levels of dopamine, is like you're shaking that tank and you're creating waves inside that tank. And the thing is that the tank doesn't have a cap, it doesn't have a lid. So the bigger the wave or the splash of water, the more water will flow out of the tank. And so when you are out creating that massive dopamine tsunami, that means that you're probably going to shake the tank a lot to cause that massive tsunami, which means a lot of that water will just splash out of the tank. That will cause your water level to do what? To drop, which means your baseline of dopamine now is very low, and it will take some time for you to replenish the water inside of the tank. This is how your dopamine system works. So the problem is that you're creating the dopamine tsunami, you're feeling low the next couple of days because you're recovering from that crash, and then by the time you're at full baseline, you go out again and you do it again. And I want to show you how this looks like for your life as an entrepreneur over the years, because as a matter of fact, I had a client of mine, Charlie, who came to me after 6 years of being a regular drinker. It was a normal thing that he was doing every week, multiple times a week for years. And he didn't really pay attention to it until we took a look on his blood work and analyzed how it was impacting his recovery, his performance, his mental state. And when we took a look at his blood work, we saw that he had chronically elevated cortisol levels, his liver enzymes were off, and he was struggling with anxiety that was literally preventing him from sleeping. He was working for 75 hours a week, and he was earning a fraction of what he was capable of. And the other crazy thing was that he couldn't figure out why he was stuck, depleted, and flat, because he never took the time to actually look at the data of his body. He was looking at the data of his business and his work, but he wasn't really paying attention to what the body actually was saying for his performance. How everything that he was doing on a daily basis or a weekly basis was affecting his work output, his health, and his mental state. So when we took a look on his blood work, it all made sense. We connected all the dots together. The alcohol was quietly destroying his hormones, his gut, his sleep quality, and his stress response, which all of those things directly impact your ability to think, make decisions, your mood, your drive, and your work output. Now, we implemented a protocol that allowed him to do a dopamine reset, focus on sleep optimization, and detoxing in order to do damage control from all the alcohol use. Here is exactly what he told me, word for word.
I can't go back to what it was before already.
So this was the example with Charlie and what alcohol was doing to him. But there's another problem. As we talked about, one of the key things that alcohol does is that it destroys your sleep quality. It reduces your REM sleep up to 30%, even a couple of drinks. So imagine drinking more than that. With that comes a huge problem. You know, while you're sleeping, and in particular while you're in REM sleep, your body will produce the largest spike of testosterone production across the entire 24-hour cycle. And as a result of alcohol reducing REM sleep, it directly suppresses testosterone production. Even a single night of heavy drinking can literally suppress your testosterone for the next 72 hours. Now, what does low testosterone mean? It means less energy, less drive, less confidence, easier to gain fat, harder to build muscle. All those things you really care about if you're wanting to perform at your absolute best and show up at your absolute best every single day, be able to perform under stress, make good decisions, and move the needle forward in your work, in your life, and in your business. High testosterone, trust me, is something that you absolutely need to optimize all areas of your life to get to. Now, while you're suppressing testosterone, cortisol goes up. Testosterone and cortisol are essentially competitors. When one goes down, the other one goes up. Cortisol, in that instance, is your stress hormone. So not only you don't have drive, you're tired, you're foggy, but you're also worse at handling stress. And there's literally no way for you to wake up and be like, I feel that my testosterone is low today, or my cortisol is high today. There is no way to actually see that. You just feel unmotivated, flat, lazy, tired, foggy, and not able to lock in. This is how it actually reflects and how it actually manifests into your performance and into your life. Now, if you want the exact protocol for your dopamine, your gut, your sleep after drinking, as I said, the link is in the description. The guide is free. Go grab it. So let's do some quick math. You go out on a Friday night and you drink. Saturday, it's like completely a write-off. Your gut is inflamed for 3 to 5 days. Your sleep is compromised for another 2 to 3 days. Your testosterone is suppressed for at least 72 hours. And your cortisol is elevated while testosterone is suppressed. By the time your body is back to baseline, it's Wednesday, maybe Thursday. And then by the time you're ready to perform and actually lock in, here goes Friday again. Which means that if you're drinking every weekend, you're operating at full capacity, maybe at best 2 days out of 7. The other 5 days, you're running in a system that is on recovery mode, trying to kind of like recuperate from the damage you did. So a lot of times when you feel stressed out, when you feel like you're unable to make decisions, and you feel stuck in your business, thinking that you can't make good decisions, and you're like getting mad at people very often, it's not the business, it's not the offer, it's not the strategy. Stop thinking about that. It's that your biology is pretty much never fully online. So look, I'm not telling you to never drink again. That's your call. What I'm telling you is to at least know the cost, because every single week, if you're drinking, of course, you're making a trade-off and you don't even know the price of that trade-off. So if you're planning to go out and drink this Friday, just try this. Just pay attention and track how you feel Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, etc. Track your focus, your energy, and your drive, and actually try to notice it, because once you see the pattern, you can never unsee it. And remember, I've made a protocol for free called the Entrepreneur's Recovery Protocol to restore your dopamine, your sleep, and your gut the week after you drink, if you drink. So if you want to get it, it's on the first link in the description. Go get it, and I'll see you there.